Here we go.
Christian here with cheap beat up Elvis vinyl. First off, I want to thank everyone who commented on the last video and said where you were commenting from. Really interesting. We had people from all across the globe who commented on it. So do it again, please. Send in your comment. If you haven't commented before, let us know where you're commenting from. And also like the video. Like to see how many people really enjoy the video as opposed to click on it and then say, oh, what the heck, I hit this by accident. Got a couple cool things this week. Got this little package right here in the mail, which is going to be the bell of the ball. So I'm going to save this till last. Really looking forward to seeing it. Haven't opened it yet, obviously. But let's get right down to cheap beat up Elvis vinyl. This past week was Thanksgiving week here in America. So we had the family over here. Daisy had a blast. I don't know if her feet touched the ground a whole bunch because she went from lap to handling people, loving her, kissing her, petting her. She only bit one person, and that was brother-in-law Scott. And if I was a dog, I'd have bit him too. So the future ex-mother-in-law has a little bag of stuff, and she says, hey, Christian went to a flea market over in Mobile, Alabama. And the guy had some Elvis records, so he had 4. And he showed them to her, and this was one of them right here. Elvis, His Hand in Mine. I already have a couple copies of this, but she picked it up anyway because he had 4 Elvis records, and he sold them to her for $5 for all of them. This is the next one that was in the pile. Elvis GI Blues. I've already got a copy of this one. This is the Living Stereo, which is very nice. Now, what I really liked about this, on the back, they have a price tag, $2.20. $2.20. And right there it says $6.61. So I'm betting that that was their inventory system then, and this was from June of 1961. So anyway, this person picked it up for $2.20. It has an interesting inner sleeve promoting an Anthony Perkins cast album for RCA. And this right here explains what is stereophonic sound. Got a few records up there. South Pacific, a couple of soundtrack albums. No mention of Elvis, no mention of any kind of pop records. The record itself is the Dog on Top, Living Stereo. So that was, even though I had one, interesting. I like that inner sleeve. Now this one here, 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. At first I looked at it, I said, oh yeah, I've got a couple of those. So I turn it on the back, and it doesn't have the boxes that usually. So here's one that I already had. And you see, they had the little boxes here. This one was a repress from maybe 64. But I also noticed that the one I had up here says Magic Millions, and the catalog number is down here. Now the one that she picked up for me doesn't have the catalog number on it here. Catalog number is up here. And you see it also has that weird little, not weird, but that same shaped, worn down little price tag. And sure enough, it says $2.20. So it probably came from the same person. So I did a little research in the price guide for the Elvis records. And it would appear that this one was one of the first pressings from 1959. So look at that. One variation that I did not have. So the future ex-mother-in-law, now on the last episode, I was talking about the albums that I still had 0 copies of. Number 1 was King Creole, and number 2 was A Date with Elvis. And I mentioned that a lot of women needed a date with Elvis. Got a little feedback on that. Anyway, Patricia picks up 4 albums, and here's one of them. Luck of the draw. So I'm looking at it. I said, wow, this is great. It wasn't a gatefold. And I said, well, this must be a layer pressing. And then I look inside, and the record is from Yokohama, Japan. So I say, look at that. She's in a flea market in Mobile, Alabama. There's 2 records I need. And she happens to pick up one, and it's from Japan. And I looked a little closer, and I realized that this is Elvis's 2nd LP. So it's in the wrong sleeve. See how these sleeves are really thin? Then I looked at the catalog number, and I think this is from Japan. Now, the absolute best channel for Elvis Japanese records is the Elvis in Japan channel. I believe that's the name of it. I'll put the name right here. Guy is really good, really knows what he's talking about. So he probably will know if this is correct. Doesn't say anywhere on here about Japan. However, on the back, when you go through the months, on certain months they'll have information instead of pictures of Elvis. I think on the American copy they were just all pictures of Elvis, but this one will have information. Elvis's biggest selling record recorded, Don't Be Cruel, back with Hound Dog, July 2nd, 1956. In certain months they'll have things like that. So I finally got a date with Elvis. Finally got a copy of A Date with Elvis, and appears to be from Japan. So I'll still be on the lookout for an American copy. But I like this. Very interesting. So Patricia picked up 4 records, and she proved what my father used to call the blind squirrel theory, that even a blind squirrel can pick up a nut every once in a while. Next up, a couple of books. I was sitting talking with a gal that I know, and she says, why did you start playing music? I said, Elvis Presley. And she says, my mom used to open shows for Elvis Presley. What? She says, yep. Pulls out her phone, shows me this photo. So tell me more, says I. She says, yeah, my mom was a rockabilly singer in Texas in the 50s. And she used to do, when Elvis would come through, she would open some shows for him. And she knew Buddy Holly and the Crickets. And as a matter of fact, on her first record, Buddy Holly and the Crickets were her backup band. Turns out she wrote this here book about her mom. So I got a copy, very interesting. And I was telling my buddy Johnny about it on the phone, and next thing you know, this shows up on my door. He orders this for me. Just a little bit of Sherry Davis. Go to YouTube, look up Just a Little Bit, Sherry Davis. Really good. She was really good. Bunch of great songs on here. The next one, another one called Bop City, which could have been a Stray Cats song. Really, really good. So you never know. Here I knew this gal, and we just happened to get on that subject. And oh yeah, by the way, my mom knew Elvis. Saved this one for last. A few episodes ago, did one about Elvis at the Gulf Hills Motel in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And we talked about Elvis was dating a gal named June Juanico. I thought I had the book that she wrote. I looked through my Elvis books and I didn't. And I was disappointed. And I mentioned that I wanted to get one, but they were very expensive. Well, I get a little message from a guy over in the UK, Mr. Steve Tate, and he says, Christian, I got an extra copy if you'd like it. How cool is that? So this arrived. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm really excited to get it open and to get to reading, because I think it's going to be one of the best, because it deals with the period right when Elvis was exploding. It must have been just unbelievable to be around that. So, let's open. I want to be careful how I do this. I think I'm going to keep this part right here with Steve's name and the date and everything, and I'm going to just cut this, and that'll be my bookmark. Came all the way from Cornwall, UK. Royal Mail. He really packed it nice. Have to get someone strong to open this. Daisy. Oh, Daisy. Several minutes later, way down to the book. Look how cool that is. Oh, how nice is this? Wow. Sent a couple of postcards showing Cornwall, where he's from. My Lord, this looks like things that I watch on TV and my wife and I just think are so beautiful. This is really nice. Introduction by Peter Guralnick. He wrote that 2-set biography of Elvis. Last Train to Memphis, I believe, was the first one. And the second one, maybe Careless Love. Really, I thought he did a really great job. Look at that great picture. Steve, I can't thank you enough, buddy. I am really going to enjoy this. And thanks for the postcards, too. I'll keep them all in here together. Nice little bookmark. You know, that's the power of music. Brings people together. And power of Elvis. Look, here's Steve living over in Cornwall. I'm living here in Mandeville, Louisiana. And we have something in common. Elvis just keeps on bringing happiness and bringing people Thanks, Steve. So we've had lots of presidents, lots of princes, lots of chancellors, but we only had one king, baby. Thank you, Elvis. Okay, fine.